Today we're going to be talking about the slope of lines that can be found in graphs. Okay, so first off, just some vocabulary reminders. Slope measures the steepness of a line. So this first blank up here is going to be steepness. Okay, the larger the number of the slope, the more steep the line is. So it'll be like more steep like this, and then the smaller, the more flat that it is. So more like this. Okay, there are four types of slope. Positive slope increases from the left to the right. Negative slope decreases from the left to the right. Zero slopes are horizontal lines, okay, exactly flat. And then undefined slopes are for vertical lines that are straight up and down, okay. We like to use a slope guide in order to remember the different types of slope. We always start off with positives because we want positive vibes in our life, and then we have his little eyebrow, which is a positive slope line. Then his other eye is the negative, and we'll draw a negative slope line there for his other eyebrow. His nose is going to be the vertical line with the undefined, okay? And then his mouth will be the horizontal line, and he'll have little zeros on the edge to help us remember. Also, we like to add a little nose ring that's an X, and that's because we write the equation of vertical lines X equals, and we'll add a little Y with his tongue sticking out because we write the equations of horizontal lines Y equals, okay? We can also use the acronym HOI-VUX to remember about the horizontal and vertical lines, okay? The H stands for horizontal. The O stands for zero slope, okay? So horizontal lines have zero slope, and we write those equations Y equals, okay? So an equation that's like, say, Y equals 2, that will be a horizontal line, okay, at 2. So that would be a line that looked like that, okay? And then over to the VUX section, V stands for vertical, U is for undefined, and then the X is for X equals. X equals is how we write the equations of vertical lines. So let's say if it said X equals, let's say 3, it would be a vertical line that passed through 3, like that, okay? We can find slope, okay? Slope is defined as the changes in y over the change in x, okay? How much is y changing and then how much is x changing? We sometimes will refer to this as delta y over delta x, okay? These triangles over here are deltas, and that is a Greek letter, okay? So that is a delta, and that just means change, okay? So that's just an easy way for us to abbreviate change, okay? And so, or we sometimes will see dy over dx as the same thing, and you can find that in your calculator, okay? So in order to find the slope of a graph, we will count the rise, which is the vertical change, over the run, which is the horizontal change, right? So let's look at a few examples. This first one up here, the first thing you're always going to want to do is identify at least 2 points on the graph. So on this graph, I see a point, let's say right here is a good point, okay? And when you're looking for a point, it has to be a perfect 4-corner point. So it's at the exact corner of 4 boxes, right? And so I'm going to look to see if I see another perfect point, and I think that I have one, let's say here. Okay, so that way when I'm counting, I can go ahead and count that, right? So my slope, my letter that I'm always going to use for slope, the slope variable is m. So remember, the m is going to be the rise over the run, okay? I'm always going to go right to left. I'm going to start at my right point, and if I have to go up, I'm going to go up, and that will be a positive slope. If I have to go down, I'm going to go down, and that will be a negative slope, okay? So the rise here is going to be this many boxes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then the run will be how many we have to go to the left. And remember, I'm always going to go to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my slope will be 7/4. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the second example. First thing I need to do is identify a few perfect points. Okay, a few perfect points. So let's say one is right here, and then we'll have another one here. Okay, so remember, I'm always going to go from right to left, and so I'm going to do the change in y over the change in x, or delta y over delta x, either way. Okay, and that's the same thing as rise over run. So for my change in y, I have to go down 2. Okay, if I have to go down, that is going to be a -2. Right, so my change in y is -2, and then I'm going to go to the left. I have to go to the left 3, so that would be over 3. Okay, so my slope will be -2/3. Right, -2/3. Here, okay, on the third example, I have a horizontal line. Okay, so I'm going to remember what I learned when I was looking at Slope Guy as well as my Hoibugs acronym. Okay, so if you remember in our Slope Guy, we had positive, negative, undefined, and 0, right? So if I'm looking at this line right here, this horizontal line, right, that would match this 0 slope. So in this example, my slope is 0, right? If we use that same slope guide diagram to find the slope of this vertical line, right, I have a vertical line, and that is going to match the undefined example, okay, for my slope guide. So vertical slopes are undefined and horizontal slopes are 0.